It was mid.
Oh,
Going into
mid!
game number 1.
Mid! I'm done. You're solo casting here. I'm out. Have fun, Michael Phoenix. Go on, give it to us. Give it to us.
Game number 1 here between these two teams. Apparently, I'll be solo casting here as JohnXFire has decided to leave the building. Very curious to see how this does pan out. As do the teams look for a level 1 team fight? I feel like I'm asking you that for the 3rd time in a row, but I do love me a level 1 team fight, John. I want to see it.
Sorry, you're asking who?
Not bad at all.
They could gun for it. I feel like Aster would be very happy to fight into that. You get level 1 Splinter Blast. You have a lot of AoE in Aster. I don't think you want to tempt fate here if you're BetBoom. They're going to posture around for the runes, at the very least, so could try to fight over that, but they just don't have lockdown. You do have Undying coming in with Decay, which is nice, but you have no way of pinning them down to an area.
Samel's going to think about going for the banner rune down bot, but decides better of it. Obviously sees 3 heroes there and realizes it's not the time to go for that. I think it is going to be a 2-for-2 trade anyway, so pretty even kind of start between these two teams. And I would really like to start with the mid lane here between Samel and of course GPK, because this is the one lane I just don't get to see very often. Between a Winter Wyvern and a Void Spirit. Like, how does this... What are we looking out for here, John, in this mid matchup?
Well, Winter Wyvern out-damages, well, not out-damage, but should be fairly comfy, outranging the Void Spirit. You've got the spell spam. You have in the Splinter Blast down the line. You can harass freely with Arctic Burn. This is a pretty winning lane for Winter Wyvern. I'm curious what Sumail does. Will he go for an early stat item, like, say, a Wraith Band or a Bracer, just have more right-click, then go into his main itemization? Because I think that's where the Winter Wyvern can get scary as the stats go up. GPK is not going to be able to leverage too much in this lane. You can't threaten with Resonant Pulse. You can't line up for the Remnant. So it's pretty much a freebie for Winter Wyvern. This is not a fun matchup at all for the Void Spirit.
It doesn't seem like it. GPK taking a fair bit of harass there. We should have a look at the side lanes as well. Top lane, Monet was taking a lot of damage. It's going to be just fine. As we're having a look at bottom lane, Toronto, Tokyo, and Nightfall against XXS and Baboka. So the possible win ranger is not something I was quite expecting. Let's come out here from Baboka as, of course, XXS is going to be on the pos 3 Doom. I wonder though, like, do you find much CS here as the Doom? Because you're up against the position 5 Undying and a position 1 Medusa. It's just so much harass that comes out if you approach the creep wave.
Yeah, you're not really able to do as much. There's not much you can really do as well for Baboka to relieve that pressure. At the least, when you run out of mana on Toronto Tokyo, once it eats through the mangoes, that's when the things can get more manageable. And once you get devoured, it should stabilize for XXS. You're not going to look to get aggressive. Nightfall is going to be free to farm. That is showing up in our CS, top of the board right now, uncontested in that lane. But as a Doom, you don't mind too much. As long as you soak your levels and you get to use Devour, you're still a happy lad in that Doom.
Yeah, that you are. Of course, top lane. The one lane we haven't really talked about, Monet and Siamese Cat against Pure, and of course Save. Now going very well for Pure on the LC, which is something you kind of expect, right? Because the LC doesn't really lose many lanes at the moment, especially with the buffs it did receive. Even against the Slark, like, Monet can't really approach the creep wave very well because you always have the overwhelming odd spam, and well, even then, just with the right clicks alone with the Moment of Courage, the LC can really just force you back every time, and Pure's been doing a really good job of just never allowing Monet the chance to approach the creep wave. Like, Monet literally has to wait for the creep wave to get to the tier 1 tower before he can even think about it.
Yeah, it's rough going. 8-0 in comparison to how much you're getting out here for Pure, and the constant damage from the overwhelming odds just means that your timing into, say, Diffusal's not there.
Top lane he's gonna go down. Siamese Cat able to secure the kill here on the Phoenix. Save sticking around a little bit too long there with no HP on the Keeper of the Light, and he is gonna drop. That's gonna allow Monet some much needed space on the Slark, because again, he has been struggling at the top lane.
Yeah. It's not too much space though. Your main issue is still Pure. When you walk up, you get overwhelming odds. It's still not fun.
Nightfall. Look at Baboka. Nightfall's going in. Excuse me, Baboka's going in. Nightfall's out of mana. It's gonna pop the Mango to be able to remain in this lane. Looks like Nightfall's gonna be just fine for now, but Baboka's doing a really damn good job of just zoning him out. luckily Toronto Tokyo did drag the creep wave behind the tier 1 tower. But that's giving some much needed time for XXS, because the start of this laning phase for XXS was pretty atrocious. Which is not his fault, he's up against Undying Medusa. Pretty revolting lane to have to try and go against. But props to BetBoom for kind of relieving some of the pressure here for his Doom.
I'm a bit curious about what XXS is going for, because he went for a 0-2-1 build. So no Devour, and very minimal farm coming out on the Doom, which means your Midas timing is really stalled out with this kind of skill build. The kill opportunities, perhaps they present themselves with no mana left on the Undying. And then this is where the lanes should start to open up for XXS, but again, no Devour means you're not ramping up into that usual Midas Octarine or Midas Vanguard sort of timing we're used to seeing here. Mid lane, and GPK starting to get a little bit more as well as they're trading blows all across the map.
I think GPK, especially once he hits that level 6 mark, should be able to at least attempt to take the life of Sumail. I suppose the same can be said for Sumail though. Once he's got level 6, he can just pop the Winter's Curse into Arctic Burn, and GPK could find himself in some very, very dangerous situations as Toronto Tokyo, meanwhile, bottom lane, falling quite low, and so will XXS on the Doom. Thing is, XXS obviously the much bigger target here. But Boca, oh, he's got Toronto Tokyo. A simple wind run plus right click gets the job done.
Don't think you mind too much in Toronto Tokyo. That's a reset for the Undying. So you'll come back in with full mana again, and that lane becomes as oppressive as it was before. Sumail?
Oh, that's a big kill. GPK hitting the level 6 mark before Sumail does, and immediately making full use of it with the Astral Step charges, able to secure a solo pickoff onto the Winter Wyvern. You really love to see that if you're BetBoom.
Yeah, that's what you need to kind of run away with the lane. And that's already setting Sumail back quite a fair bit, missing out on a lot of CS, but Boca has to come in to sort of soak up and try to balance out the lane. And Sumail should be able to hit 6, and he does have a regen rune for himself to pick up. So not going to feel as lousy there.
Lane, the Doom's taking a fair bit of damage there. Toronto Tokyo not able to get the body blocks off that he wanted. So XXS is able to walk his way out, pop the Scorched Earth to make sure he could definitely kind of kite out, though the lane has become rather challenging once again. Nightfall, 36 and 6 in terms of CS, has had a really good laning stage. XXS now being chased down. Tombstone will be committed. They'd love to go for a dive, but even that short duration shackle from BetBoom was enough to force Nightfall back, as Sumail mid lane again in danger is going to be able to survive, and now at least does hit level 6.
Yeah, he's got the curse to bail out, but GPK has been dancing around this lane quite nicely. You do have the double crown ready on Sumail, so his right click damage is feeling good. It's just that he can't really deal with that mobility coming out from GPK now, and just how durable he is.
Top lane, the chase is on. John Pure trying to get to the Slark. Monet still trying his best to run. The jewel is up. They just need to get within range for it, and now he's got it. But his attack slow has been slowed, so I don't know if he's actually got the damage for this shot. Oh, and he doesn't. The jewel will not work out, but Pure, he just wants the kill, and they will get it. Nice blinding light from Save to ensure they secure that kill. Who cares about the jewel damage when you can kill off the enemy pos 1? And that's exactly what BetBoom will do.
Even drag Toronto Tokyo up top here to secure that push. And for Aster, it's ending up to be a really passive game. Pichu?
Yeah, Siamese Cat is trying his best to run here. He's probably going to be just fine. It's Pure. Doesn't want to really get kited by the Icarus dive, I don't think, though he was just actually trying to juke around through the twin gates. Now Monet showed up. Slow is going to be there, but Pure will purge it off immediately with the press of the attack. That'll be about it. Pure, again, he's doing a fantastic job on this LC. Really dominated this top lane quite effectively.
Yeah, I mean, Monet is still about to hit level 5. He's severely behind in farm. Aster is going to have to play a really slow game in trying to build up for these cores. And there's going to be an issue because you don't have too many heroes that can connect together well. I suppose you could play around a curse and try to clump up your team fight with your Phoenix 6 as well. But it does feel like once the ball's rolling for BetBoom, they can just keep it bad for Aster. Just keep suppressing that farm, suppressing that build up. Aster will have to try to make space for themselves here, and that's easier said than done. I mean, look at this clump up. BetBoom just maintaining the tri-lane top because you have that 6 on Pure. You know you can play off this Legion Commander and just make things super awkward. At the least, Picho will find the stacks. Just try to block out again, blocking the large camp. So they might be able to contest down the line. I suppose you can drag in Sumail and try to play with a Splinter Blast and maybe get some damage with Picho as well. But again, you don't have the space to even get that done here.
Top lane. Bit of a group up here, 3v3. Pure is getting quite close to the Blade Mail pickup now, and that's going to make life very challenging here for Aster. Pure, very confident to just move up. Understands they can't really deal with him at the moment. Monet being chased down by Pure, but Monet will be able to get the pounce off and make some distances. Now Samel's going to show up. Wyvern has the curse, but GPK has also shown up as himself as the duel comes out. Pure, he catches the Wyvern, and that is going to be the first duel victory of the game as Pure has somehow got himself out of this fight. They've even caught Siamese Cat on the Phoenix. He will go down. GPK with a double kill. And the most surprising part is Pure did not die throughout all that.
Yeah, he just had enough. The double Wraith Band plus the armor you're getting from Phase Boots, barely enough to keep Pure alive in that engagement. And the side of Aster, they're really trying their best to give Monet something to play with, but he's just lost top. There's just too much coming out from BetBoom this early on. You've got a free lane for Nightfall as well. XXS can't really stop the Dusa farming. Yeah, Sumail, maybe once he gets the Atos, feels a little bit better. Even then, like the Winter Wyverness core feels like it's something that needs time to build up as we're seeing the replay. And just the positioning, dancing around up top for Pure, having the double usage of press the attack, healing through all of that. You just don't have the burst damage to play with here on Aster.
What can I say?
You certainly don't, not quite yet. BetBoom in full control of this game one so far. 3k advantage their way. And all three cores on BetBoom at the top of the net worth graph. Top lane. Group up is there again from Pure and Toronto Tokyo. You know Monet's around this area just farming the top wave, though he is by the tier 2 tower, so he should remain safe. I think Pure might just take the time anyway to just farm up the Blink before they really get going. But he does also already have the Blade Mail up. Blink is not going to be too far behind. We've seen how scary this LC can be as a hero once you have these two core items up. This is very, very... you can basically just solo anyone with Blade Mail or Blink, you know, in the right circumstances. And well, Pure, considering he's top of the net worth board right now, I'm sure he's not going to find any issues doing that this game one.
Yeah. It's after a really good start. I mean, you only have one victory from the duels, but you don't need that much. It's just this item, these item timings coming out for the LC in comparison to what Aster has. They have no counterplay at all at the moment here. Rune control also kind of getting away. GPK managing to pick up the shield rune, and they'll smoke off the back of that.
But they will. BetBoom looking to move down towards the bottom lane where they could find XXS. XXS, he's got the Hurricane ability up, but that's probably not going to save him in all this, as GPK looking to close the gap, does get there with the Aether Remnant and Astral Step. XXS still alive, however, as Samel has now shown up. They could not burst him down in time. Toronto Tokyo is still going on his own with the Tombstone Zombies, trying to get the damage done to XXS. Now the Mystic Snake flies through. XXS looking for a Doom attempt before he dies, but no, he's gone. A 1-for-1, certainly in the favor of BetBoom, as now the curse is out, but it's only really caught one in Nightfall. And GPK literally just took no damage. He'll just walk away from this.
Yeah, you just don't have that much output yet in the Dusa. That the curse is a threat. And they get away once more with a big kill onto Doom, suppressing the side of Aster further. Sumail can't just sit back and farm. These fights aren't lining up for them. The space is made for Monet at the least. But this is just not the timing you want on Aster. Maybe now with a level 6 up on Siamese Cat, it starts to get a little bit simpler. You can try to chain that Winter's Curse along with a Supernova. But, I don't know.
GBK jump in. He sees the Emperor Samel. He's going to try to run out of this, and he should be just fine. GPK, no more Astral Steps to commit here to try and take down the Winter Wyvern. But just the constant threat for Samel proving to be so much to deal with. And it's only getting worse now because you've got the Echo Saber coming out on GPK. So now he's got so much more burst potential on this Void Spirit. And we've seen how fast Void Spirits can just delete heroes with this item up.
Yeah, they just melt heroes down. Especially the backline. I don't think you're going to be that secure here on your Wind Ranger or on your Phoenix. Not to mention even Winter Wyvern with no Cold Embrace to save. It's going to be a little bit harder to maintain some sort of presence out for Aster. BetBoom 3k up. All their cores farming up quite nicely. The only core to have any room is really XXS. That's because he has Devourer and Midas. But Monet, Sumail lagging a little bit behind. These heroes still scale. It's just that it's hard to see how they stall this game for like 20 to 25 more minutes here, or even 15, for them to get enough space to build back into this.
Pretty hard to imagine so far, but it's only a 3k advantage. It only takes one team fight fast to come back into this as JPK, mid lane, going to jump Sumail. Rod of Atos is going to be there to lock him down, and now the curse into the shackle. They stack them up. They'll drop the egg even to try and make sure they can kill off JPK, but he's fine. Now the jewel comes out. They've caught the Wind Ranger. Pure coming out of nowhere, finding himself a dual victories. Now XXS is going to be chased down. Rod of Atos to hold him, but Pure is just continuing to move forward. Monet, however, he's going to show up. They have the Doom out on the Void Spirits. They should have enough damage, and they will. Monet able to pick up a pretty big pick off, but now Nightfall is going to show up on the Medusa. And Pure, just afraid of nothing, is moving in. Though Monet is going to keep up the team fight. He might drop here. Even with the Blade Bell, he is going to go down to Monet, who wants to keep fighting. He'll move on to save now. This could be a lot of permagi going his way. Nightfall also caught out by a shackle, is going to be in trouble. And it's going to be the fourth hero down if he's not careful. Then now Monet's in trouble. Monet will need to retreat. So they did not have enough damage to take down Nightfall. But a huge team fight victory, it seems, for Team Aster.
That could have gone so much better for Aster, though. Like, the shackles come in, and then the curse comes out from Sumail just a little bit afterwards. If they just played with shackle, stacked the Winter's Curse and Egg a little bit better, got the Doom off earlier, you wouldn't have needed to sacrifice so many heroes to find that trade. Still, signs of life out from Aster. Early activity from Monet with that Echo Saber up. Very important kills for him to take part of, as he is saving into the Ags, and that's the launching point for Aster. Having this Slark that can get the double pounce in changes these fights in a big way.
I see a free jewel. Icarus dive. It's going to be there, but he's coming right back to Pure. The jewel had begun. Even more jewel damage to
Aster. Early activity from Monet with that Echo Saber up. Very important kills for him to take part of, as he is saving into the Ags, and that's the launching point for Aster. Having this Slark that can get the double pounce in changes these fights in a big way.
I see a free jewel. Icarus dive. It's going to be there, but he's coming right back to Pure. The jewel had begun. Even more jewel damage to go the way of Pure now, up to 46. Well, bottom lane, Nightfall being chased down, does run out of mana. But with the Stone Gaze, he is able to just casually walk out, as XXS and Sumail could not continue for the chase. And BetBoom, they are moving down bottom lane through the Twin Gates. They want to try and go for a fight here down bot. XXS is stuck around. Will he continue sticking around for this next creep wave? Oh, it seems like he will. XXS, you've got Sumail there with the Winter's Curse, but they're just too split up here on BetBoom. The curse will just do nothing.
Forced to just back off. Sumail has to be careful. JPK has a DD.
Oh, JPK, just an immediate jump in. Sumail just melting to the damage. But the curse this time will save his life. JPK, no more Astral Step charges. We'll have to watch him walk out. But nevertheless, BetBoom, they'll find a bottom tier 1 tower out of this, and there's just no signs of slowing down with this team. They're just moving straight ahead.
I mean, you still have to wait for Aster. You need so many more items to be up on your Slark, on your Doom, on your Winter Wyvern to really take these engagements. And Sumail's still trying to find that form for the Boots of Travels to be up to have that mobility in the middle of these fights. And the Echo and the Ags for Monet still 1,000 gold away, 1,050. So more time necessary. Aster needs to keep trying to stall. They can play around the BKB. They can play around the Crimson Guard and the Doom up on XXS. That can be an opening for them if they find an angle in.
They're going to try for Pure, but a quick blink out from the LC is going to ensure that there was no catch from Baboka. Team Aster, like, they had that one good team fight, but right after that, BetBoom continued to start applying pressure. But now there's some big itemization on Monet. He does have the Ags up. Generally when Slarks like to start getting involved, with the Ags, you'll go back into the Echo Saber here for Monet. And I think with the way this game is going so far for Aster, he might be forced to really get involved a little bit earlier than he would like. And we did see it last team fight, like he found himself a couple nice kills and backed his way out. But he probably doesn't have as much time as he would like to just sit there and hit creeps now.
Yeah, he needs to take an active position. He needs to be able to follow through from when Aster does jump in. There's some good tanky heroes for him to build up a lot of essence shift stacks on and just try to take control in these longer fights that Aster have been forcing out. But it's just, it's awkward right now for the Slark, right? You're still level 13, you don't have the max out essence shift. We're still a long way away from your level 25 talent as well, or even just your level 20 talent. It's pretty impactful for that hero. 5k lead still maintaining from the side of BetBoom. All your cores, again, having a field day right now in terms of farm and build up.
Icarus Dive is there. Is he going to make it, though? The damage from GPK just proving to be too much.
I push the future.
We'll go down, TP or not. I mean, at least that is just the position 5 Phoenix, so it's not the biggest deal in the world. Just going to be another sack here for GPK. He's currently sitting at 5-1 and 3 on the Void Spirit. But at least they know exactly where he is, so Aster can continue safely farming up in their cores. So, I mean, pings are coming up for the bottom tier 2 tower here for the side of BetBoom, so they want to try and move in through the bot lane, it seems. Not sure if this is considered a little bit too early, but I guess with the lead they have, they want to try and force a fight.
They've got really good vision around the area as well. Good ward on the ramp by the triangle, even by mid to see any sort of movement out here. So they're fairly well protected to try to get something done, but they don't fully commit. They just kind of back off when the response kicks in. And not going to be able to sneak a steal onto any objective just yet. Wisdom Rune in a minute. Very important for Aster to find that, especially for Siamese Cat right now. Level's not quite there in the Phoenix. It's a level 1 egg. It's still impactful, but not that well protected with not as much durability there. BetBoom off to Roche they go. And not the fastest one, to be fair, but they've got the output. Still Aster with a smoke read here.
Yeah, I mean, they've got to go for the fight, and you know what, John? They've got decent Roshan pit fight here for our Team Aster, but BetBoom, they are holding high ground right now by the Twin Gates. Smoke will break on XXS, immediately caught out by an 8th of Remnant. Roshan will continue here by BetBoom, getting lower and lower as Aster not rushing for this quite yet. Jump in is there from Monet now. He'll see the HP pool of the Roshan, but he's bounced right back out. How do you get back in now? They're still going for it. Pure's there, looking for a dual attempt. Aegis on the deck. Who's going to pick it up? No one's got it yet. The curse is out, holding everyone down.
Wait,
but the Aegis!
Huh?
Where is the Aegis?
Monet didn't pick it up.
Oh, Nightfall's got it. Monet couldn't just click on the Aegis. I believe it was just covered by a hero. The Siamese Cat's going to go down. XXS also caught out. GPK right on target. We've got to see a highlight of that. I mean, it's just, I think what it was, John, is he literally couldn't click on it. I think it was just surrounded by heroes.
I couldn't see it either. It was just covered up by the bodies. The duel comes in, they're right on top, and no one could click it. It's just such an awkward moment for Aster. They got pretty decent team fight coming out there. Yeah, it's just covered up.
Oh, it's such a shame. Such a shame, because it was a perfect curse, a perfect follow-up shackle, but they just could not click on the damn thing. It happens.
It happens, but that's a massive loss for Aster. They're behind by 7k. They have to deal with 2 lives on Nightfall, which, to be fair, I think is still manageable at this point. Although I say that, with the Butterfly, it's hard to even just find 1 life of Nightfall right now, and for Aster. And this draft still needs so much more time to cook up. We're not nearly close to any of their major power spikes on the Winter Wyvern and on their Doom. But they've already lost a significant portion of the map. 9k behind. BetBoom, with how big they are on GPK and on Nightfall. There's no easy answer for how to take these fights. Like, it has to be almost like a perfect use of the curse, a perfect use of the egg to back that up. The shackle fall through, everything has to land layered quite nicely, and it's just so hard with how BetBoom's playing. They're just constantly pushing forward, finding these heroes one by one, and forcing a very staggered response out from Aster.
Yeah, they certainly are. BetBoom just looking so strong here in game 1 against Team Aster. And well, props to Aster. They haven't lost too much yet. Yeah, you still got plenty of time to try and catch up in the net worth department and find a good team fight for yourselves. Sure, like this Medusa's getting pretty big, to me, mind you, Jonathan. It's 15k net worth here on Nightfall at the moment. He's going into the Daedalus build-up now. Monet is trying to pick up the Diffusal Blade for himself to have a decent opportunity at getting through the mana pool of the Medusa. Still going to be pretty hard, though, like considering the butterflies there for Nightfall. You're not going to have just those guaranteed hits anymore. And BetBoom, they're heading down bot through the Twin Gates again. Siamese Cat, he might find out the hard way because here comes Pure with the jewel out. He has caught the Phoenix. Nice easy pickup here for Pure and GPK. And Siamese Cat at least avoids Monet getting caught by a jewel because he just tanked the gank. But still a jewel victory nonetheless. Pure? Jump is there. Monet, he can't actually man fight. Pure just pumps the blade mail and it's just too much damage.
It's pretty ballsy from Renee. Don't mind seeing that, but yeah, you can't really find too much for that kind of play either. Inside of Aster, again, you have to sacrifice someone on the map. At the very least, if it's your supports, you don't feel too bad. We are starting to reach the point where Baboka is also going to have his Diffusal Blade up. So once he manages to get the skill point for Focus Fire up as well, Medusa is going to be a very, very manageable target at that point for it. Although, again, Butterfly is going to ruin a lot of that burst you'd want on the shield. But you have some solutions coming in. And to be fair to Aster, their high ground defense is pretty damn good. They've got Curse, they've got Egg. They can hold high ground for quite a fair bit of time. And if they just manage to keep trying to stall, this lineup can still scale. But again, it's looking harder and harder to see that stall tactic come into play here.
Here we go, down towards the bot lane, BetBoom. They might run right into Monet. Pings are out, they seem to know exactly where he may be. Pure might now realize Monet, smoke is broken, will pounce towards the north. Pure will miss out on the duel opportunity. An immediate TP's coming in from Sumail. Pure, though, still going for the fight, but this might be a bit of an issue, though. He's going to go for the duel out, but the Cold Embrace is going to protect Monet for now, as a Curse is there as well. They've got Pure. He is down on the LC. A massive start for Team Aster in this team fight. XXS in the meantime trying to deal with the Tombstone. Now the egg being dropped. GPK getting doomed up here. BetBoom, what have you done? It's just so much being lost here. If they've lost the Void Spirit and GPK's gone. Nightfall, he's out of mana. Oh, no. Nightfall's out of mana. This is not the fight anymore. XXS somehow going to walk out. A perfect shackle from Baboka. Only Medusa left trying to fight this one out. Nightfall can't do it.
Expiring.
Yeah, they are just casually waiting. The Aegis is gone. Onto the Coddle, save is gone. It's a full team wipe. What the hell just happened?
The patience from Aster. The staggering of that fight. They go on to Pure when he's chasing forward. The rest of his team not catching up. And it's BetBoom that staggers into that one. They go in one by one. They get controlled up. They pop the Lincolns on this Void Spirit. They take a look. This move out from Monet, knowing that Sumail had the value point to save him. More than enough, and then suddenly they stagger in. Like GPK tries to go forward, his Lincoln's breaks, and they get the Doom off. And then the patience.
That was all Sumail. It really felt like all Sumail there, John. Like the way that the fight started, right? Like the Cold Embrace to waste the Jewel, and then the Curse afterwards to make sure Pure does die. And yeah, the patience afterwards to just hold on and wait for that Aegis to expire on Nightfall was beautiful as Nightfall. Just begging them to just kill him off, but they just wouldn't do it.
Oh my God.
Again, a massive fight here for Team Aster, something they desperately needed, and suddenly there's only a 2k net worth lead.
Look at the graph. Open up the graph. Look at that dive in EXP. Aster just pulls ahead, and this is a lineup that needs a lot of experience as well. Hello?
Pure does get a nice jewel off though, but Boka's going to go down. So back to stacking that jewel damage here for Pure. If we're going to bring up Pure though, like, he's going to be a little bit worried about those initiations because he did see Sumail on the Winter Wyvern before that initial jewel came out in the last fight. You got to kind of remember that Cold Embrace, it does make it so your jewel's pretty useless.
Yeah, he needs to be a little bit more patient with that usage in these wider team fights. Sumail, he's only one part away from full axe. That's a huge power spike for that Winter Wyvern to just have that long range form on hand every single time. With the added move speed as well. Sumail's going to be able to zip in and out of these fights quite nicely. And again, the high ground of Aster it's pretty damn sharp. Without the Aegis, you're not going to feel secure in trying to even attempt this just yet on BetBoom unless you get a key pick-off. So it's back to a little bit of a slower game for them. And that's exactly what Aster wants. They just need time to farm up themselves. They've got the Octarine up on XXS, more uptime on the Doom, more opportunities to Midas and Devour away. Some gold back. Oh, Monet?
Jump in is there. Jewel is out. Monet's gone. Oh boy. He's down for 65 without buyback here, John. That is massive.
That should be the opening to high ground. And he's just going shopping in secret shop. Doesn't respect that high ground control. And does get punished. 7k coming out from BetBoom. Aster, they still have the curse. They still have the egg. And they have the full Ags on Sumaila. So they have some play here to wait out until the Slark is back up and running.
They do. XXS. A bit of damage. Will break the Lincolns of GPK. Can't get in range for a nice Jewel off the, or rather a nice Doom. Meanwhile, Samel getting to work, but this Medusa proving to still be a massive issue. So tier 3 tower is dropping. They'll disarm him for a moment. Meanwhile, Jump is there. They've got the Jewel onto Samel. Still Shackle going to help him out for a little bit. The Cold Embrace buying him a little bit of time, but not much. He is down. But Boker in the meantime, trying to run, trying to kite, trying to go after GPK, but none of it's enough. GPK makes it up, but Boker will go down, and BetBoom will continue their high ground attempt.
Yeah, just really good target prioritization from BetBoom now. Getting that Blink Duel onto Sumail, that's the one target you need to take out. Just remove that curse, remove the Cold Embrace as a factor, and the fights just simplify. They still have a Fortify to stall out for the racks. Respawn's not the longest. You have Monet around as well, if you can find an angle into this one, along with still having Egg and Doom up.
Well, Midrax is still under siege. Samel back up in 6 seconds now. Maboka will be there just after him. Midrax is gone, and now XXS, immediate Jewel from Pure, is going to be saved by the Depth Shroud of Monet. They are going to try and make the jump in on the Medusa now, but he is a big, big boy. Nightfall is just manning up. Back in onto the egg they go. They want to deal with that first, but the curse is perfect. Emperor Shamel making sure that they cannot deal with the egg here. As Siamese Cat will pop off, and now they can turn right back on the Medusa. So he's on the run. Nightfall somehow still alive throughout all this, but they will eventually take him down. Onto another. They've got the Undying. Toronto Tokyo will drop. 2 down for BetBoom. They got the melee barracks, but it does cost them a bit.
Yeah, when Aster can leverage this team fight in these engagements, it's really damn strong. Like, BetBoom's own team fight isn't that sparkly. You know, it's not as wide AoE control. They stagger their spell use. They get a good Doom usage off onto the LC. And they manage to focus down that Medusa, as we are seeing in the highlights. They still have a lineup that can fight. You have to respect that team fight. Roche is up. Aster's gonna try to sneak this one away.
Yeah, that they will. Roshan not going to take very long here, and it's a massive loss for BetBoom, who are going to smoke up and try to rush towards the Roshan pit. Roshan getting very, very low now. I don't think they'll have the time to try and contest this. They might still force a fight. They are approaching now. Roshan just about to drop, will go down, but BetBoom are still going. They want to still continue this fight as they do jump in with a Jewel out. They've caught the Phoenix straight off the bat. Monet, he's just going to go for the fight against Pure, but eventually decides he wants out of this. Like, you've already got the Aegis cheese. No need to risk handing that away too early. They'll get out safely with only Siamese Cat going down. And I'd say overall you have to call that a pretty big win for the side of Aster.
Yeah, you still drop the gem, so BetBoom can take over the map in terms of vision once more. That's traded away by Siamese Cat's life. Still, Aegis on hand, some time to build up, cheese to back up Monet. You didn't have Doom available in that fight anyways, so it would have been very awkward to try and force it out. A lot of protection coming out from BetBoom though. Second Lincoln's up on Pure for their lineup. We had one already running on GPK since earlier on. So it's going to be maybe a little bit harder to pin down that Legion commander. And Aster, their execution has to be so on point. It's not an easy game for them to find these openings in, being behind as they are. And the high ground is something to be scared of for BetBoom. Just not able to pierce through that. We'll get the Void Shard off the Tormentor at the very least. And for BetBoom's part, despite losing a couple of those fights, Aster has no clear path forward onto objectives themselves. They're stalling, but they can't. They're not able to reel back map control by taking some of these towers here.
No, they certainly are not quite yet. Slowly but surely, though, John, they're getting there. Team Aster
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
trying to just split push the mid and top lane, buy themselves the time they need. BetBoom in the meantime looking to start sieging that bottom tier 3 tower. At least they will constantly keep the creep wave forced in. Hoping for a defense and maybe a bit of a pick off here. But nobody's coming in to defend that bottom tier 3. Team Aster realizing they can't really afford to lose any bodies at the moment. And they're going to go for a 5-man smoke. They'll go for the fight. Dire Triangle is currently occupied here by BetBoom. Toronto Tokyo in a position to break the smoke as the Undying. But he will back off. GPK now the one that might get caught out, but the Lincolns is broken by the Rod of Atos from Sumail. GPK, oh, that's a nice shackle. They got the Doom off as well. The Void Spirit has been caught to start with. The egg dropped as well, but no, he's just running. He just runs out. They left Nightfall behind. Nightfall's the one manning up here. The rest of BetBoom will finally come in. So they've got the Aegis down on Sumail. And they will get him. Jewel is there. Sumail is down. Monet trying to find a way out of this team fight now, realizing this is not the one they wanted. But GPK is right behind him. The cheese has been ate. In the meantime, XXS does go on the Doom. The Siamese Cat will also drop on the Phoenix. And BetBoom, they're going to look to go through the bottom lane as GPK getting tipped by Pure. And I'll tell you what, he did a fantastic job of just baiting them into that team fight.
Yeah, that was a great press the attack to break off the shackles with the Doom coming in. And even the Lincolns down there was just kind of poking. But the save, just to break off that Doom usage, just to ensure that the team fight wouldn't break out. Sumail also trying to Winter's Curse, but being stopped by the Lincolns. No break on him for that. And Pure's just able to stand his ground. None of the big team fight spells you wanted from Aster could come in, and they'll take another set of racks for free.
Yeah, absolutely. BetBoom have looked so clean this game. Yeah, a couple mess-ups here and there, but you got to give props to Aster. They're the ones that are really finding those opportunities. BetBoom mostly have been playing a very, very solid game as Monet. He's going to try and pounce in and deal with the Medusa's mana pool, but Nightfall is just fine as now the Jewel out on the backside, but Sumail, he will get saved by the Depth Shroud of Monet, cancelling the Jewel once again against Pure. The Gale Force being committed by Baboka, trying to drag Nightfall back as they'll commit the Doom immediately, but he got the BKB off in time so he can turn and fight if he really wants to. But they want to retreat, wait out this Doom on the Medusa, and then maybe go back in. As Team Aster, they are desperately trying to chase and find some kind of straggler, but they are not finding anything. Everyone is fine, and now they'll reinitiate. XXS, he'll be the target. Nullify to slow him down, but he's fine for now to just walk out. Instead, they'll look for Baboka, but he's also just wind running away. So BetBoom probably just very happy for not losing any of their heroes, especially the Medusa. And it seems like they can just slowly reset and go back after that top racks.
They've got an opportunity to do so. Doom down for a minute. It's a big tool taken away from the side of Aster. They still have the Curse and Egg, but they need to find a way to pop some of these Lincolns to get a good curse off. It's not a simple process at all for Aster to try to take any of these engagements. For BetBoom, and they're in complete control. 19k up, 22 to 14, and they'll just go for it.
If they will, Nightfall going to move up to the high ground. No Doom for 30 seconds. Mind you, Nightfall doesn't have a BKB available. Monet's just pounced right in. Shadow Dance has already been popped though on the Slark, so he could be a little bit vulnerable here, as now Sumail's going to get jumped on by GPK, but will back his way up.
It's Winter's Curse down again. He popped the Lincolns.
It is gone. He popped the Lincolns with it. Oh boy. Well, they're back on the Medusa, but Monet, I'm really not sure how much he can get done here. Still trying to drain the mana pool. As they do doom up the Medusa again, but he got the BKB off in time. They're trying to go underneath the egg and just fight this one out. Aster, they've at least got Nightfall down. It's a huge pickup here for Team Aster if they can keep this fight going. XXS in the meantime, though, is going to drop as well. Pure, he got Baboka to boot, but they want to pounce. They want to keep going. Team Aster, seeing the opening without the Medusa up. They need to fight while they can. GPK somehow getting out with an invis. Toronto Tokyo, he's going to be the sacrificial lamb. They'll even lose the coddle. But I suppose it could have been worse for BetBoom.
Dire's middle tower is
It's
under attack.
not clean at all for Aster. They're forced to buy back on multiple heroes. They managed to find that opportunity on the Dusa at last, but even then, having the BKB up makes it a lot harder for them to find that kill. The egg had to be right on top as well. You have to make so many sacrifices on Aster. They hang on to the game for sure. They've got an opportunity to try to scale up themselves, but man, the way you find these fights is it's so difficult. The Lincoln spam from BetBoom is just ruining a lot of what Aster needs to achieve in these engagements. At the least, we're starting to reach that point where Monet is getting scarier and scarier. If it drags on onto his level 25 town, with the Essence Shift lasting as long as they do, I mean, that's when fighting into Slug in these longer fights starts to be detrimental for your cause for BetBoom. So Aster,
does.
I mean, even with this game, with their backs against the wall, they're still putting everything they have to try to defend this.
Here we go again, BetBoom. Smoking up as 5. They're 1 racks away from having Megas. They know Monet was around the bottom lane somewhere. So they're going to try and wrap around through the bottom lane into that dire triangle and see if they can find him. In fact, they'll go towards the right side of the map. Go towards the Dire Tormentor, though it isn't there, to be fair. Just trying to find the Slug somewhere off this map. They won't get away with it. In fact, they'll go for the D-wards instead. So now Aster, they know exactly where they're hanging about here, BetBoom. Aster preparing for a big fight. The BetBoom decide better of it. They are going to retreat for now. 16k advantage, but it won't matter so much in a game like this because Aster, one good team fight could turn this right back their way. I bet BetBoom, they have lost a couple. You can't afford to get wiped here by Team Aster. That would be a disastrous fall.
That's where things start to go south. Smoke out from Aster again. Roshan a longer timer, but if they take a fight here, they might be able to get themselves room to go into the Roche pit.
Monet moving in, should see Toronto Tokyo. Smoke will now break. A lot of patience here from both sides. Aster will reveal themselves on the creep wave. XXS inviting them to come in. He does have almost 4.3k HP, so he's feeling tanky enough to get through the initial onslaught of BetBoom. BetBoom, meanwhile, they'll wrap around. Monet, though, is going to break the smoke, but immediately retreats. But not what he was quite expecting to see when he did move up north. The team that wins this fight will have the next Roshan in their control. While all this is happening, John, there is a creep wave pushing into the tier 4 towers now, so Aster need to make a choice. Pure is going to get pounced on, but no, they missed the pounce. Monet immediately has to pop the Shadow Dance. In fact, it's just complete chaos down at the bottom lane. Phoenix Egg does come off just in the nick of time as well. It's Team Aster almost losing Siamese Cat, but he pumps the ulti. But now you don't have Egg. XXS, he'll jump in on Toronto Tokyo, but now he's the one being hunted. He's in big danger. A nice shackles from Baboka to create the gap, but now the duel out. They've caught the Phoenix. Siamese Cat is going to go down. So will XXS. Curse is committed onto Pure, but nobody's attacking Pure apart from Monet, who's still trying to do it the LC, but Pure's just running out. A pounce to follow him up, but he's just fine to be forced afterwards. Monet is down. Monet is down. BetBoom have played this team fight perfectly. Sumail at least able to TP out. But Roshan is going to be open now for BetBoom.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
This is
So Roshan 8 seconds away.
This is not looking like a defendable position for Aster with no buybacks. In the fight, the smoke back in for BetBoom breaking up that angle Aster was trying to work on and just ruining any hope they had. Curse does come out, Lincoln Star pop, but they're not really catching anyone. BetBoom just so disciplined to stay split apart. Again, every single time they try for the Dusa, the BKB is always there to cover them anywhere. Roshan will fall their way. And they get the freebie, they get free ags out for Pure as well. So now it's a uninterruptible duel. At least, well, you won't be able to try to damage down the LC there. Just really good hard lockdown for 7.5 seconds if you can't get the Cold Embrace or the Death Shroud off. BetBoom. One last fight, it feels like, Mike, before they go for the end game. Only one tier 4 tower here and one set of racks here.
Yeah, they're gonna go up top. BetBoom. Nothing to be afraid of for the next 15 seconds as Monet has to wait out that timer. Plenty of time for the racks to go. Because Team Aster will probably play to the end. No need to call it quite yet. Pure was trying to go for a jump in onto Samel, but broke the Lincolns with the duel, so didn't quite get the lockdown he was looking for. But BetBoom now taking down both tier 4 towers is XXS. He's going to jump in for a Doom attempt. Monet is going to be there to follow up. They'll try for the Deucer. Keep in mind the Aegis is available. Egg is dropped as well. Siamese Cat trying to savor this team fight the best he possibly can. Actually gets the egg off in time. This could be the one Team Aster have been looking for. They've got the Aegis down. But can they deal with the Medusa a second time is the real question. Nightfall's going to stand his ground. Monet, he's got a lot of energy, but he's been doomed up. He is down. No buyback available. This one should be over for Team Aster, as they call it. They have seen enough. And BetBoom playing mostly a very clean game. Team Aster showing us some signs of brilliance here in this game one. Maybe some signs of a comeback, but it doesn't happen. They'll have to try and make it work in game 2.
Yeah, they had an